Welcome to the Okanagan Sun Coaches Show for Week 9. The Sun snapped their 2-game losing streak last week by shutting out the Chilliwack Huskers for the second time this season, 43-0. The Sun were led by Michael Fedniak, who scored 2 touchdowns on the ground, while DJ Weber returned a 50-yard punt for a major. The Sun will look to continue their winning ways on Sunday afternoon at the Apple Bowl as they host their interior rivals, the Kamloops Broncos, who they beat earlier this season 49-14. Head coach Pete McCall tells us what they worked on during practice this week.
Well, the same thing we'll do when we prepare for our playoff games. We're just working on the things that we do on the regular and getting in better shape, improving, and just getting ready to play a solid game of football.
Do you expect a different kind of game from the Broncos? You handled them nicely at their place.
Well, the season has moved on, and I'm sure they've improved. Like I said before, anytime you play the Okanagan Sun, you come down here, you bring your best game, so I'm sure they'll be playing to their peak.
Is it easier to prepare for a team after you've already seen them, a second time around, if you will?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you're going to know the film that you have on them. You'll know what the plays they run, and so, I'm sure they'll have added some things, but as far as their schemes go, we'll have a good idea what they're going to throw at us.
Does this game give you a chance to implement a few other things going into the bye week and then preparing for the Raiders and the Rams?
Yeah, we're talking about this another week to get better and shine things up. We weren't really that happy with the way the offense performed last week, so we'd like to see it performing to its level again this week, and just continue to improve in those other two facets. And our special teams, we had a punt return to the house, and we'd like to see, we haven't seen a kick return to the house yet, maybe one of those, and just up that whole package. And same with the defense, just to continue to improve. Pitch another shutout would be a goal, and just play solid, sound football.
Steve Shaw was terrific against the Huskers. He went 5 for 5, hit a field goal from 50 yards. How much has his confidence grown after that game, and how important is it to have him step up his game as you move on in the season?
Oh, I think it's huge. He was feeling pretty good about that game. He'd struggled a little bit earlier on in the season, so to allow him to have a crack at a 50-yarder, and then to make that 50-yarder with people barreling down in his face, anybody's going to get more confidence from that. So we get into the playoffs here. These games are going to be close battles, and we've left points on the field earlier in the season, and so we're going to want to make sure that we're getting those field goals come playoff time.
So as head coach McCall and the Sun prepare for the 1-6 Kamloops Broncos in Week 9 of the BCFC, the Sun defense remains one of the stingiest in the league, allowing the second fewest points. But is defensive coordinator Jason Casey happy with his crew?
For the most part, yes. 95% yes, I have. I think that touchdown drive at Nanaimo shouldn't have happened. That was blown coverage, coaching point and player points. So from that point of view, we still should have won that game. To me, it's the defense that won the game, regardless of how many times the offense didn't score. I mean, if we have to win a game 3-0, we have to win a game 3-0, plain and simple. So I think our defense understands that, and we're correcting those mental mistakes we're making on the field. Also with Surrey, we held them to some low yardage. However, they scored on pretty much probably every one of their drives. So we have to have that bend, don't break mentality when we're playing teams like that. And aside from that, we're bringing it. I mean, we held Chilliwack to below 100 total yards and I think 5 first downs all day. So regardless of what kind of opponent you're playing, you want that kind of performance every time. You don't want your teammates playing down to guys that might be not your, peer in the league, to get us ready for the Nanaimos, for the Rams, both that we see before the end of the year. So I think 95%, maybe 96%, I'm happy.
What are you working on from week to week with this crew?
Consistency, to get rid of the mental mistakes. If I call a play and it's, call in the huddle, I need to know that there's 12 guys that as soon as they hear that, here's my role in that defense, and we're going to execute. If they come up with something different from, a balanced set, then okay, it changes to this, it changes to that. So they need to know our base package plus any adjustments we make depending on what we see from the offense.
You faced the Kamloops Broncos this week. You held them to 14 points last time you faced them. How have you prepared this week?
We're just going after their passing game and run game. I mean, sure, they may be at the bottom of the league, but they've got talent. I mean, they've got talent on defense. Number 44, I think it's Alex Adams, and number 67, his name escapes me, a linebacker. I mean, they brought it on defense the last time we played them, so we have no doubt they're going to bring it again. And on special teams, I coordinate the special teams, so we have to make sure we're ready to win the kicking game again. But for defense, we want to keep that consistency, attack them, try and dictate as much as possible what's going to happen on the field instead of just sitting back and reacting. And that's what we need to do to get ready for, VI and Surrey. So these are the games that we need to hone in on that.
Last time you placed the Broncos, you lost Mac Weinsow. What kind of loss does that affect on the defense?
I think short term it has a huge impact. Guys look and go, great. There's a starting D tackle down. There's a final year, sixth year. I was going to say fifth year, but a graduating player. No, he's not going to get a chance to finish his graduating year. But he's been around. He comes to practice. He helps out his teammates still in the D line and whatnot. So short term, yeah, it was a huge blow to the defense. Long term, we've got guys stepping up. We got Mac Hicken, we've got Dakota Poole, we've got Chris Burley, we've got Scott Raffy. So there's players that are there chomping at the bit to take up that time. However, it's good to see Mac still want to be involved with the team, which is nice. I mean, he's a smart kid. He understands the game. So, to help out his teammates when he knows he can't strap on the helmet is huge.
You have a game this week and then a bye to prepare for the Raiders and the Rams, as you mentioned earlier on. What do you want to focus on in these 2 weeks before you face the Raiders and Rams?
Well, like last bye weekend, and I haven't talked to Coach Pete about it, but I would imagine next week we'll treat it like training camp. We'll just physically and mentally beat these guys down. We'll give them high reps, so lots of contact. Really tire them out because we know they'll have a weekend to recuperate, and then we'll go back to a game set weekend the following, going into VI. But yeah, I would imagine next weekend we'll just throw it all at them again and just allow them to smack each other around and get tough and get ready for the playoff stretch.
This has been the Okanagan Sun Coaches Show for Week 9. We'll talk to you live from the Apple Bowl Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock. Until then, I'm Ryan Waters.